Why? Why?
Good evening and welcome to Sistas Perspective, where
Good
you are
morning.
beautiful and you are beautiful and you are beautiful and I am beautiful. Come on, say it with me. I am beautiful.
I
Woo!
am pretty. No.
You are a mess. That's what you are. What was the thing over the banner? Really?
I mean, because I like the banner, but they can't see me and I need them to see me
They
while I'm
can't see us,
singing.
right? The banner is
I
there.
wanted them to see us see me singing, so I had to get up over the banner.
She's
But
so pretty.
Oh,
anyway, welcome. Thank y'all for joining us this evening, no matter where you are joining us from, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or via podcast. Thank you so much. Go ahead and subscribe, like, share, subscribe, like, share, all of those things, so that so that we get some more viewers to join in with us every week. Uh,
Yeah.
we put out a podcast every week, so we'd love for y'all to come and join us and spend some time with us. It is just a group of 5 sisters. We're minus one tonight, but we just get together, share our perspectives on various issues, and we got a great topic tonight. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Go ahead again and like and share and invite somebody to come on into the room with us as we get ready to go. While y'all are sharing, we're going to just do a quick check-in. How is everybody doing today? How are we doing today, sisters?
We
Well,
are
I
good.
have survived a DST Monday, so I think I'm gonna be okay. The daylight
Oh,
saving time thing,
I
people,
was going
can
to
we
say, what is
please?
DSC? Can you help me?
I was
Yes.
like, Delta Sigma, when she became a Delta. Delta Sigma Theta.
No, daylight
Right.
saving time.
Okay.
Girl.
But you know the struggle is real every Monday after daylight saving time. Boy, the coffee pot in the office did not last long at all.
Mm.
Mm,
Everybody was going for it, except me. I had my cup of tea,
oh,
me and my
of
Tea.
chai.
course.
We get along. Chai
Absolutely.
tea.
Do
It's
it wake you up?
amazing. It
no,
does. It has
Oh,
caffeine. And then it has other good things in it, that also are healthier and they also wake you up.
oh, okay.
Mhm.
So yeah.
I I
But yeah,
read
I had
that.
a fun weekend with my grandbaby.
Oh, I read that you're not supposed to call it chai tea because chai means tea, so you're just saying tea.
Yeah.
So you call it or tea.
Well, actually, since black folk, we commonly do that anyway. So it's okay for me to call it chai tea. Because
I
now
had
come
my
on. I
TT.
have kids. Y'all know my kids, I call them Nene. I got Nene. I got Mama. Everything is
Oh,
a double.
everything got to be twice.
Everything a
Oh,
double.
Lord.
You know that's how you say it when you be serious about it. Like for real, you say it 2 times.
Oh, my
Exactly.
Let,
God.
For
I
let
real.
you know
don't.
it's
I
serious.
never said 2 times.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
I don't.
Absolutely. That means you're
So
serious
tired of
about
this
it.
light behind me. Okay.
But listen, you're right. You're right, Lord. That daylight saving time, it was a mess today. It was rough. It was rough. I
Mm.
did not plan well because I had to be somewhere at a certain time, and I was like, wait. That mean I gotta get up like this is really 4 o'clock in the morning. Wait. It didn't vibe well with me, but I'm hanging in there. I
I
ate
didn't.
a payday candy bar, and so I think I'll be good to
Girl,
go.
you been eating candy all day.
No, I
You just was eating the
haven't.
Reese's.
I didn't eat that. It was sitting here. I had to make a decision which one I was gonna eat,
I had to make a
and so I
decision.
ate the payday.
You chose wrong.
You
What,
It
Carolyn?
was the
She
I
chose
chose
very
that.
wrong.
I'll eat both of them then. Maybe later. No, I did.
okay.
I did choose that one because I was like, "What does a payday taste like?" I couldn't remember, so I chose that one.
a
Mm.
bunch
That's it.
Paydays are great.
of
It was all right.
Well, the nougat is delicious.
Yeah, it is. It's been a good week though. How about you, Charlotte? How you doing?
I'm doing good. You
Where you
know,
been?
I've been to Panama City Beach.
Oh, you went to the beach. It's not
Yeah.
cold anymore.
No, it's perfect. The weather is
Girl.
absolutely perfect. It probably will be cold today tonight up there, but
No,
because
yeah, tomorrow.
it's gonna be cold here. So I know it. But no, this weekend, oh,
I had my overcoat on.
perfect weather, girl. Well, you do get a little cooler than us, so we good. We Florida, so we usually have pretty good weather for spring break. Too
Not it.
bad we moved back here. But
Right.
anyways, what? Oh yeah, okay. It is gonna get cold tonight, but it's okay. It'll just be cold for 2 days. So last week we celebrated our 20th anniversary, and we so that's why we were in Panama City for the weekend, and we had a great time. It was our first time being there. At first, it didn't look like much, because we got there kind of late Friday. Long story. Don't want to talk about it. And so, but then when Saturday came, it was beautiful. We got up and was like, wow. And we finally found the beach and the area, the pier and all of that. It's nice down there. We found a donut shop because when I go to different cities, I like to find homemade donuts. And they make these croissant donuts. They are delicious. And I wanted to tell you, Lori, daylight saving time didn't affect me this year for some reason. I'm okay. I mean, I guess because I'm just used to getting up
You were
so
at the
early
beach.
for treatment. Well, yeah, that too. But we woke up and left yesterday though. We had to drive all the way back, and it's
Yeah, but
almost a
y'all were
6 hour.
already in a different time zone.
This
So
is true. This is true.
Right.
This is true. Okay, so maybe that's why.
Right. I was just about to say that. You wasn't even in the regular time zone.
And it
exactly,
always
the
gets
rest
me
of us is
every
struggling.
every time we go up there. I'm like, wait a minute, what's wrong with the time? And Alonzo like, it's a different time. I was like, well, what? What? It throws me every time. I don't know why I forget that every time. Whatever.
No, either.
But it's good. Carolyn, how you doing?
I am wonderful.
I am
I
so glad you're alive.
I'm glad I'm alive too. I'm gonna get to that.
Oh,
Oh, that's right.
Good news. I reached my weight loss goal.
oh,
Woo!
yay! Now you can stop.
Woo, celebrate. Congratulations.
Decided I'm gonna take off another 10 pounds. So
Okay,
anyway, my update. I had an encounter with Yogi Bear last night. Oh my goodness.
baby.
But y'all,
Yeah,
okay,
I
so
don't know
y'all,
if that was Yogi.
it wasn't. I
Mm,
I I don't think y'all understand. I mean, the bear had to be okay. All right, let me just start from the beginning. Okay.
Yeah.
I left my house last night like I do every single night to take the dog out for a walk. We walk the same way every night, down a couple houses. He makes it goes or whatever, and then we pick it up and we go right back to the house. We are like 3 houses down. We're not even at the end of the street. And we do the same thing. We go down, we turn around, and I was in shock. I'm standing there and I'm saying, "That's a bear." That's all I could say. That is literally all I could say, just like that. I was like, "Giselle, that's a bear," and she was like, "Where?" That thing walking towards us is a bear. He was he was huge. He he was, and I was far from him. Well, 3 houses down, and he was huge. And I just was like, I don't know what we're going to do. We can't get to the house because he's standing right there in the driveway. So we picked up the dog and we didn't run because I heard that if you run, bears will chase you because it's instinct. So
mm.
we
Mhm.
didn't run, we power walked.
That's
And
right.
Girl, please.
we power walked extremely quietly until we got to the front by the clubhouse, and then we ran for the gate because I didn't want him to hear Tiny or something and then start running after us because they
Mhm.
run really fast. And
Yeah.
we ran straight out the gate, and I called animal control and whoever
It's a fire department right there.
they was gonna do. Come walk, hose the bell down. What was they gonna do?
No, fire department handle everything.
I don't
They
know.
do.
They
I
really
didn't
do.
call. What's the number to the fire department? 911.
911. I will punch you.
She was like, you should call the police. I'm like, what they gonna do? Put him in handcuffs? He a bear. I don't know.
They have different tactics that they would.
I
You
don't
just call emergency. They will send the notice out, and then
Oh, I forget who I called. Animal control. Then they told me to call somebody else. They were like, no, these people handle
Fish and wildlife.
fish and wildlife. That's what they told me to
Yeah.
call. Called them and they were like, yeah, we're not gonna get there till in the morning. And I literally hung up on him. I was like, you're no help. And I flagged the car down. It was a lady in the car, and I was like, hey, I know this gonna sound crazy. I said, but I need a ride to my house. There's a bear walking down my street. And she was like, what? I need a ride to my house. There's a bear walking,
Mm-mm.
and I don't know where he is. I ran and I don't know where he went. And I know she thought we was crazy, but she let us, me and Giselle and the dog get in the car, and she
Girl,
to my
I
house.
probably would have left y'all out there.
He was sitting right there eating out of the trash can. And she was like, oh my God. She picked up the phone and called her husband, Joey, look, it's a bear. She was like,
Oh
had
my
him on
goodness.
FaceTime. She was like, where's my mom? Is she out walking? I was, oh
Oh,
my God.
that bear gonna get her.
Right. And then he saw us in the truck, like, well, what's up? Like,
Oh
sir,
my God.
I
This
had
is
to
the
wait.
best check-in ever.
He went behind the neighbor's car. And that's when I got him on camera. When he went in my neighbor's driveway, he went behind their car and he's just kind of standing there like, look, y'all gonna get out, what we gonna do? I'm like, I ain't moving till you move. And
Oh
then
my goodness.
he walked or did something and went the other way. And I saw him pass the car, and I'm talking about we sprinted to his house. I ain't even get to talk to Giselle. Girl was in the door already. Giselle, no games last night. I was like, okay, Giselle. She was in the house. She is not one of them children that you see on the movies, come on
Oh
in.
my God.
But mom, she ain't one of them.
No.
She was on
Just
my
trust
feet the
me.
entire time. Tanner, let's go. You know how they always have to
Oh gosh.
take so long asking questions. Yeah,
Man, I would have just been and left them and the bear eat them.
she ain't asked not one question. Giselle was pew every time we moved. I said, I know we would have got away from Jason or Freddie. We ain't the type. Wasn't no
I'm
tripping,
trying to tell you.
nothing.
Falling and dropping your key. Can't get in the house.
We had on house shoes. We ain't trip or fall. Absolutely not. So that was my question, and I'm still alive. And I've never seen a live bear, but I saw one last night. And people, they are huge.
They are, but they're so cute.
Girl,
The
they
little
cute.
black bear.
They cute behind a glass. They not cute walking down the street, Charlie.
That right
Well,
there. That
we
right
had
there.
one. We had one in our neighborhood a year or so ago. He was right over our car, and I was like, and Lonzo want to stand out there and take pictures and talk to the bear. Can we go?
I will not. I was not about to get mauled. That is not on my bucket list.
Exactly.
I'm
Thank
not.
you. No,
That ain't
we don't do
Melanie
that.
said huge and dangerous.
they are.
That
So
was
that's my check-in,
a
and I'm
good
Wasn't that a great check-in? I'm telling you, boy.
Dumbass.
Woo.
why, Jam?
Carolyn, you can't be running from your husband. Really?
He's
Oh
so
my God. My goodness.
That black belt.
That was a good story. I'm glad you're still alive, sis. Glad you
I'm
are.
telling you.
Me
Whew.
too.
Mama texted us last night. Y'all pray for Carolyn. What? What?
She's not in the house now.
oh.
I don't think our prayers are gonna help. Okay.
Prayer changes things, Charlotte. But at that point, all she needed to
being
do was to
smart
relax.
things. Being
Yeah,
smart
just
things.
relax a little bit. Listen, that's good. Thank y'all for joining us. Those of you who are just coming
Hey
in, please
y'all.
go ahead and share. Invite a friend, invite your sister, your mama, somebody. Invite them to come on in the room with us while we chat tonight. We are going to be talking about the demise of a relationship. What happens when that relationship falls apart? What causes it? What do we do? How do we move on? Pick up the pieces? What happens when that relationship falls apart? And so stick with us as we dive into that topic a little bit today. But before we do, we want to take a minute and honor the great women of the world, because this is Women's History Month. And we're going to let Laura give us a little bit of that women's history.
All right. Yes, one of my favorite months besides Black History Month, Women's History Month. because we actually do run the world. And they always have that saying, behind every good man is a good woman. And I'm like, no, beside every good man is a good woman. We're not behind them. We've always been by their side, and that's what we're supposed to be, supporting them, of course, and they support us in turn. So, but anyway, let's go on with some firsts in women history. Okay, so one of my favorites, because y'all know I'm a sports fan and I
Mm.
do play softball. So, um, one of the things was the All American Girls Professional Baseball League became the first professional baseball league for female players in 1943. And if you've never watched the movie called A League of Their Own, you need to watch it. That is actually all about the women's baseball um, league. And when the men went off to war, basically, and they were trying to figure out how to keep this going and have something for the American people to do that weren't at war, of course. Um, that's what formed the Women's Baseball League. And you had some big greats. You had some teams, and you hear them mentioned in a league of their own, the Racine Bells, the Rockford Peaches, the Grand Rapids Chicks. So Fort Wayne Daisies, those were some of the big teams that were in the Women's Baseball League. But yeah, so, and another great first was that Catherine Bigelow became the first woman to win an Oscar for Best Director it took us to 2010, but we did it. Catherine Bigelow became the first woman to win an Oscar as Best Director in 2010. And if you don't know of any of her films, I know a lot of you guys are familiar with Point Break. That was one of her films. But yes, she took
Mm.
home the Best Director distinction, and it was over her former husband, James Cameron, who was
Oh,
also nominated for his science fiction epic Avatar. So I think that's like
uh,
a win-win right there. She becomes the first woman, beats out her ex. Win-win.
that's good because I don't like Avatar.
Let's get that. I like that movie.
I don't. It was so. Oh no, something. I don't know.
It was strange to me. Never watched it
Pay
really.
attention to it. Your brains are not
I mean, it
evolving.
was strange, but it was kind of cool. I loved like all the plants and all the colors.
It was.
Even
Yeah.
Go back.
I don't think people should look like that.
Right. Yeah. It's just like.
Mm-mm.
It's kind of
and I
like with
really
Polar
love the
Express. I
way
don't like that movie
Oh, that's
because I don't.
oh,
Are you cartoon? Are you real? What is it? It's too. I can't. I don't like the in between.
I do not like
I
that
thought it was
movie.
cool.
I
Yeah.
don't.
And I
I
love the
think
way I like the way they honored nature too in that movie.
Yeah, yeah.
heavy sci-fi. Right.
Yes.
I think I did watch the first one, and I just wasn't interested in seeing the second one. Not really. I don't know. I mean, I may watch it on TV one day, but I think you asked where Sherry Eileen is. She put her whole name, y'all. Eileen.
Ooh.
Wow.
I think Sherry's on holiday. You know, that's what they say in other countries. The vacation is called
Exactly. She's
holiday.
on
I'm gonna
holiday.
start. I'm gonna start saying that. I'm gonna go on holiday.
Yes.
But
Holiday.
I need an avatar to go to work for me. Boy,
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, go ahead, Carolyn.
Oh no. I already told you, Jam, I am not hosting the show tonight. This is an open forum. We are having conversation tonight.
nope. I'm
About-
logging off.
We're having conversations tonight about relationships and the demise. And I just want to say, we are not just talking about romantic relationships because honestly,
Not at all.
I would rather talk about eating a rice patty than talk about romantic relationships. I just don't like.
Um,
I don't like the topic, but it's fine. We're talking about the demise of relationships and what causes them. So I have a question to start our conversation off, but then of course we're gonna go in to what we're going to talk about tonight. So my question was one that we posed at work. A lot of us there are single, and so we sit around and we have conversations like this. And it was, what is one of your non-negotiables? Like, what is one thing on your list that a person can do or not do, and that's it for that relationship? What is one of your non-negotiables?
Is this a business relationship or any relationship?
You can think of it as a friendship, a very close friendship. You can think of it as a romantic partner. If it is a
Okay.
friend relationship, whatever it is, in order for them to be close enough to you to have an intimate type of relationship,
Um,
what is a non-negotiable for you?
for me, it would be lying.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
I
I can't.
actually was about to say the same thing. They cannot be a liar because the strongest thing for me is trust. I got to be able to trust you, and it doesn't matter what relationship, if it's romantic or friendship,
Exactly.
family. I have to be able to trust
That's
you.
that's
So you
overall
cannot be
business.
a liar.
A deal breaker for
I
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say lying because people lie all the time. Yeah, it is just a part of life. People always lie. You might think they're telling the truth, but they always lie. So
They
for
can't help
me, not showing up. If I can't count on you to show up, that's a
it.
deal breaker for me.
That's a good one.
No, don't
It
show up. I don't
is.
need you.
That is a
That's
great
true.
one.
You got to be a person of your word. If you say you're gonna be there,
Mhm.
be there.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that what you said, JM, is
Yeah.
true. People, I don't think not everybody lies on purpose. Some people do lie on purpose, but I always say by default, everybody lies because when you're
True.
story, you're telling it from your perspective. You're actually telling the truth. You're telling a story from your perspective. So if you look at it
Mhm.
like that, by default, everybody's lying.
Okay. Well, sure.
What
Okay,
is the
so I
truth?
guess we should put it like this. Intentional deception is an issue for
Okay,
me.
I like it.
Okay. Okay.
Deal
Intentional
breaker.
deception.
One of
That,
my non-negotiables was that you cannot be a different religion than me. I
mhm.
can't date or
Mm,
marry. Friendship, okay. Well, associate. But
mm.
as far as romantic relationship or like my best friend, I can't be best friends or be in a romantic relationship with someone who
That's
doesn't
true. That's
religion.
being unequally yoked.
That's non-negotiables. I also don't like people who smoke.
Oh,
Mm,
Non-negotiable.
Yes.
that's true.
Actually,
What about
that
the
yeah, that
others?
would be a
I would.
second deal breaker for me.
I think
Is
my
the
deal breaker
smoking.
would be the stank breath.
Mm.
I cannot. No. Nope. Can't. I can't even talk. I just can't. I
It's
will throw up.
funny, but honestly, hygiene is another non-negotiable.
It
It's
is. It's
important.
so
It is
important. You
important.
ever smelt somebody and it's like, oh no,
It's
that ain't.
non-negotiable.
Nope.
At our big age, we all know how to be. Everybody have an off day, but you're not gonna come around me and be stank every day.
That's
That's
ridiculous.
non-negotiable.
That is
It
not
makes
gonna
sense if you
happen.
just came from the gym, freshly sweated up,
Or
working out.
just work all
Right.
day
Just
out in
worked
the
all day.
sun or something. Okay, and now I'm going to get in the shower. But you,
I like when people smell really good, especially a good smelling man.
of course you do, Jam.
Oh
Catches my
yes.
attention
Of
every time.
course.
Like, oh, you
That is
smell good. Mm.
That good smelling cologne.
Mhm.
Hush your mouth.
is
For real, for real. Double up.
Not stink every day. That part.
that thing. Yeah,
Uh-uh.
that good smelling
Jesus.
around
So
longer than it should be. Go ahead, Sharpie.
these are good. No, I was going to say, well, what are some types of relationships? One that I thought about today that people don't really think about, business relationships. And I
Um,
feel like they are very important because a lot of times we get in business relationship, you burning bridges or it just messes up. It's
yeah,
so hard to come back from. Which is why people always say don't do business with family or stuff like that because once you mess that up, it's like how I'm supposed to trust you? And we family, we got to sit, have dinner together or whatever. And, it's
True.
That
That's true.
is
Do you
true.
think that's why people stay in certain relationships? Because the thought of, how do I break this up or get out
Yeah,
of it
that
without
it's
it
gonna
being
be
so messy
awkward.
and complicated and awkward? So they
Yeah,
just stay instead of just,
Oh,
let me
for
leave this
sure.
I
friendship,
think
or let me leave this business relationship, this
For
romantic, whichever
sure.
relationship.
I
Yeah.
think a lot of times people do that. Yeah,
Hmm.
Of course they do. For
Do
sure.
they?
Yeah.
of,
So you
yeah.
just stay where you're unhappy.
Some people do.
A lot of
Eh,
people where they're unhappy because it's
yeah.
comfortable. And you know what I've noticed? I'm glad you said that. This is one thing that I've noticed. People, and I was going to ask a question, but I guess I'm answering my question myself. The question was, how heavily do you think people's family of origin, that's what we call it in counseling, the family you came from, how heavily do you think people's family of origin affects their relationships with their romantic partner or even their best friends? Like, how heavily do you think it weighs in?
Oh,
Does it matter?
Oh,
Because
it
me, off of what you were saying, Jam, I've noticed that when I'm in a relationship with somebody, the way we were raised, and I'm not talking about single mother, this or that. I'm talking about people who were raised with their parents or whoever showing them love versus people who were raised on just pure survival. We got to pay this, we got to pay this. This is how we do it. We together. Like their parents can be together, but they together to pay the bills. People who are
hmm,
those two ways,
exactly.
it's really hard to be in a relationship with somebody who's raised the opposite way of you.
that's
So, have
true.
you
That's true.
ever experienced that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I
Family
think your
background
person's
definitely matters.
yeah, definitely. And you probably should know the family before you know, if it's a romantic relationship, before you go any further and get all committed and hung up. It's important to kind of know where that person is from, their background, their siblings, even. Not saying that
Hmm?
they are going to necessarily dictate what, that person, you and the person's relationship. But to me, when you marry somebody, for example, 'cause since I'm married, you marry into that family. So why would you marry somebody you don't like their family? That's not gonna make sense. Let's
Questions
not do,
that are really good to ponder.
you know,
That is a
Yeah.
like
hey guys in the chat, would you ever marry somebody whose family didn't like you? Or would you marry somebody who your family didn't like?
I don't think I would have.
Me and Laurelyn, we can answer this question, Laurelyn. Uh, I think it depends on how many people don't like him.
That I'm getting ready to
That's what
say,
I was gonna
right.
say. It
If it's
depends on how
just
many.
Yeah,
one or two
how,
people acting silly, I'm
it's
trying to
right.
go somewhere.
Or that y'all will be okay. But if it's like two or three key people who've been around, I might be like, oh, something.
It's a
You
red
know what? It was important. It was important for mom and dad to approve.
Yeah, yeah.
Once dad approved, I was like, well,
Hey,
dog,
Shania, look
okay.
at your face.
because I still don't like
Lonzo
noodles.
don't like
I
noodle.
still don't like them.
That Chris, I still don't like noodle. Jay, you see, he said, I won't give a hoot.
That's why I look like that. I saw his comment. I still don't like them. I'm gonna come and take my sister back.
So it don't
I
matter.
don't like all my husband people, but I love my husband.
And I see that, Angie. I do get that. But
Yeah,
when you really love somebody, like you have
definitely.
to make that choice. Is this person worth, me going all in for? And
Right.
I know it's gonna cause conflict on my side of the family or vice versa. Like it just really depends. I think it depends.
It
You have to
it
weigh,
does.
like, is it worth it?
Hmm.
Is it
Mm,
worth it?
Yeah.
And
And
you
I
and and
actually
I
agree with what
never can know
I
if it's
agree
worth
with what Carolyn said. There are key people that I am actually, 'cause I
um
know that they are kind of like able to spot certain things. So yeah, if
right.
their spotty senses go off, then I'm like, yeah, no, this may not
Spidey
be the best route
senses.
for me to take.
When
Yeah.
Auntie Carrie came
Yeah,
and
the
took his
spidey, they
hands
start
and looked
tingling.
into his eyes, and
it.
she was like, "Yes." Okay, then I knew I was all right. But boy, if she gave me one little look, I was gonna be like, "No, bro, you got to go." No, I'm just kidding. I kind of agree with Angie too, because if you really love somebody, that's what I was going to say. So a lot of times, in people, especially relationships where you're not the same ethnicity, People are like, "Oh, I think you should marry in your own." Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I thought love, to me, love is colorblind. If you love somebody, you love them. Why they get? If I'm black, why does he have to be black? I don't agree with that, but I hear a lot of people say that and do that. I just feel like that's not it.
I guess.
Yeah, that's a very good example because, as you know, my son-in-law is white. So,
Yes, he
um,
We
is.
do know
yes,
that's my boy.
that's
Boy,
Yes.
but
boy.
I mean, Chris is amazing. And my thing was, I was not looking. You're right. It's colorblind, and I was not looking at the
Yeah.
fact that Chris was white. I was actually looking at Chris's family background. He comes from a
Exactly.
great family background. I had not only did my daughter meet his family, but I had a chance to meet all of his family and everything before they, tied the knot and everything. We hung out for Thanksgivings and stuff like that. Just had a blast. They were good people. And then the other thing I was like, is he gonna take care of my child? So,
That
you
part.
know, and Chris has a good head on his shoulders. In fact, he kind of levels her out, which is great. He
Mhm.
is so patient. Oh my
I just,
Mm.
gosh. So yeah.
I just have another question along those lines. How soon do you think you should introduce somebody to your family that you're dating?
Ooh, wow, that's a good question.
How soon?
Okay, so
Assuming that they don't
nowadays,
already know him.
Assuming that
Yeah.
they don't already know the person. How soon?
Never.
You said
Just,
Just maybe 1 month before you marry them.
I know that's right. Hey guys, surprise, we
no,
getting married.
But I think you should wait until you are sure, like until you like think you really serious about this. Like y'all have talked about it. Like we serious. We gonna take this. So now it's time for you to
yeah.
meet the family. Because if you just kind of playing around, you just like we friends. We kind of sort of dating. It ain't real. Why? No need to bring them around. No need to bring them around.
so.
Exactly.
Especially when you
And
got family. Like
I kind of agree, but then let me get it to you from the other perspective.
okay,
So if you wait too long to bring them around, you are now in love with this person. So it doesn't
Right.
matter what your family say. You've already decided that this is who I'm going to be with, when your family could have showed you some red flags if you had introduced him earlier. So
Hmm.
that's why I asked that question, like, how soon is too soon? When should you, before you decide that this is serious? Or is it after you've decided that this is serious?
When you find out that he is not the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, then you should
That
introduce.
right there. Exactly. Because I think it's like a fine line in between because, yeah, they can kind of contain the crazy sometimes for,
Can't
a
they?
good
From
couple of
you.
months.
Listen,
They
So,
can.
exactly. So, I mean, if you can't sniff it out, yeah, and maybe if you feel yourself kind of gliding toward those feelings of seriousness, yeah, you need to go ahead and take them around the family and make sure there's nothing that you missed.
I
I know
I
that's
I
right,
get
Angie.
what y'all saying, but I think you have to. It depends on your family. You got to know your family, like because if you got a
That's true.
family that's like really aggressive, they may scare the person off. They
Yeah.
may run them off. If you got a family that's really religious, they may just like
Ugh,
it
mess
could be
everything
bad.
up.
It could be bad,
It
and
could
so you
be.
don't want to scare them off. So you got to gauge the two things where
Or
you
do
are,
you?
and you got to know your family. You got to
Because
know
if,
your
if
family.
they really love me, then will you get that scared off?
Well,
I'm
listen, y'all. I'm gonna speak about my own family. Y'all crazy, right? So, like, you're not just bringing nobody over
Oh
to
my
the house
gosh.
where you know people are gonna clown you.
She is not telling
Think
the
about.
truth.
no,
Oh,
she is telling the truth. She
I
is
know.
think about your five brothers,
I
and then
know.
those times when like some of your cousins, like Roger and all that, like that is not a good situation to put any person in that is not steady, stable, sure about themselves.
Well, why do you want to marry somebody that's not stable, steady, and sure about
I'm
themselves?
saying
you don't know.
If they
You
don't,
don't know until you put them under that type of pressure. You
Well,
don't
I knew the family I was knowing them. What?
know. Who
You,
is that?
I,
Jim, don't bother my husband. Noodle.
I ain't studying him. Listen, here's my question. How do you know when to walk away? All right, so you done got this information. how do you know when to walk away? And this could be a friendship. Like, what's your sign? Like, you know what? Enough is enough.
Okay,
How long do you stay in a relationship when you're like,
so
I just
I
we got to speed up.
listen, that depends on how much is invested for me already.
Mhm.
So if you're new and I just met you, and I think the older I'm getting, the less patience that I have, especially when it comes to business relationships. I like to do business a certain way.
Mhm.
Don't be
Where is
sideways
my
when
money?
we just met and see, because now I don't want to fool with you no more.
at
Ever, yeah, at all, ever again. And it could have been a great
time I
relationship.
catch discrepancy.
I'm trying
Discrepancy.
to tell you.
Especially
Y'all was so kind. Y'all was be kind. Like she
No,
got friends.
but
She
this
got
is the
friends
thing,
that I done cut them loose. She's still a friend.
girl. Not
because
okay. All right. Well, listen, Lord Jesus,
Not
thank you.
like not
Moving
about
on.
her money.
No, but yeah, not about my
No,
money.
not about her money.
I'm on
Just
my money.
friendship.
Bye. But no, like if I got a best friend from high school, it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna take a lot. I'm not just gonna ever probably walk away from that relationship. That's 25, 26 years invested. Same thing with my marriage. You know, it's that's 20 years invested. I'm just gonna walk away. No, 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 no. So it to me, it just depends on how much time was invested already, and then of course what happened to make the relationship demise. If you don't pay me my money, I'm coming after you.
Oh my.
And do
What
you
about
know, actually, that is one of the top reasons why relationships actually end is
Yes.
due to money or
Yep.
finances. And it's
Yep.
not
I
just a marital relationship, it
right.
is relationships, period. You mess with people's money,
Yeah.
that's true.
that's it
She owed me
Definitely.
$500. We ain't friends no more.
at all.
That girl in my ass. Oh, that's a lot of money.
It is. It is. What about you, Carolyn? How do you know when to walk away from a
I
relationship?
purposely didn't answer this question because I think I am the world's worst leading authority on this answer. I have
But it's your personal
It is my
answer.
personal thing, but I have given people way too many opportunities
Oh, that's what you mean.
to
Yeah.
waste my time. I
Uh,
think
But that's okay. We learning. We live and learn.
we
so
do.
when
We learn. We
Mhm.
good. We
Yeah.
good. But
Yeah.
I think, and that's why I said at the first discrepancy, the first lie, you tend to ignore red flags. You just be like, ah, it ain't red, it's pink. Penny. It's something I can fix. That ain't really a red flag. But the thing you ignore in the beginning is going to be the reason you walk away at the end.
huh.
That's exactly what I've learned. The thing that you ignore and say, "Oh, it's not that bad," is going to be the reason you walk away. Because
Hmm.
it's the first thing it got your attention, but you decided to ignore it, and that has been true for me. And so now, not in the past, now when I see those pink flags, I I
Yeah.
am there. I'm not wasting any more time. I've gotten too old to waste my
Exactly. See, it's age.
it's age.
Age.
And I do think that how much time you have invested in the situation does matter, but then I'm on the fence with that because again it depends on the offense that happened.
Right.
Because
That's too.
things I don't care that it's 20 years. If you've done this, you have to go.
And
There's
clearly, them 20 years don't matter if you did this. Yeah, I get you.
nothing I can do to salvage that, but I don't know. I don't know. I
Okay.
guess I'll figure it out one day if I ever get married.
Well, even in a
But
friendship,
it
when
could be
you
a
let that
business
friend go.
relationship or a friend.
Child, with my friendships, I be cutting them off left and right
I'm telling you, boy, quick.
with the quickness. You got a better shot if you the boyfriend, but them friendships,
Not
child,
at all. I'm telling you,
I be
We done.
that,
not interested.
and I will wish you
I'm
luck.
looking for loyalty. I ain't got
That
time to play.
that is a big thing to me, especially in friendships.
Yeah.
Your loyalty and um your consistency. I
Mm,
can't stand people that are sometimey. Sometimes,
Mm.
sometimes it's
right.
always late every time. To me, when you late every time, it says you don't really care.
See, I say that all the time.
in a friendship. That bothers me. If you are my friend and I need you to be somewhere at a certain time and you're gonna always pull up late, I don't
Mm-mm.
know we gonna last as friends. Because
Mm.
that's when somebody's always late to me, that means you don't value my time. And
Yeah.
my time is the
See,
most important thing that I have. So
I say that all the time.
things like that for me in a friendship, that gets you cut off real easy. You got two times to be late.
I'm trying to tell you, one, I hate people that's always late. What is the problem?
Yeah,
Mm.
I cannot
Mm.
stand it. But it's because I work so hard to be on time. Like I have to work to be late. If I show up to your event late, it's because I knew y'all wasn't gonna be here on time. So
Right.
I have to work to be
I'm
late.
trying to be cute late,
I
not.
literally am up and I'm ready to go and I know what time I need to. I done calculated in traffic
Hmm.
the time I need to be there. So I figure why can't other people do that for me?
Where do we get that from? Because I am the same ways.
Your
Oh,
mother.
Mama.
Your
oh, the OCD lady. Okay.
Mhm.
The OCD.
That's what I call her. She know it. That's her name.
I know. So now, okay, I'm gonna switch gears, and we are going to go into a romantic relationship. And I did hear Lori mention something earlier about finances being the reason that a lot of relationships end. So I just want to quiz my sisters a little bit. Let me take a pause here and say I am not a marriage and family therapist. I did take all the classes and I was going to get my second master's degree in that, but then they wanted me to do another internship, and I needed to go make money. So I decided that I was not going to do that internship, and I went and started school counseling, which,
Okay.
funnily enough, I end up counseling families anyway. All right, so that's a disclaimer. So, what do you think is the biggest factor in a marriage that breaks them apart? What is the biggest factor? I know you said money, but
I think it's different for
The
every marriage. Because I would say communication or
but
the lack of.
people say that all the time. What does that mean?
The
Communicate.
lack of communication, just simple stuff, not being clear on what you're saying or what you want. I mean, it's a variety of things. Um, it's to me, it's always communication or the lack of. You could not be communicating about the money or what, and then that's an issue. You know what I mean? So it's just you have to communicate everything in a relationship. Nobody reads minds.
That is that is true. The
that
question
I,
that is
is
actually true, but I
when
think the go ahead. I think the biggest issue is mainly a trust issue because that is when you have trust, two things that usually build a really strong bond is that you feel safe in a relationship and you also feel supported in a relationship. That builds a really strong bond. If they are lying, whether it be about finances or anything like that, it
Hmm.
could be that. And then also if they are emotionally or physically unfaithful, if they are trying to be controlling and you can't trust them because they have like a jealousy going on that has no foundation to it, there's no cause for this jealousy, or they just are narcissistic and they want you to stroke their ego, but they cannot turn around and provide that same support for you, then yeah, that you don't feel safe and secure in that. And so that trust breaks down. And yeah, I think that will cause a lot of marriages. That causes a lot of marriages to end.
Jan,
I I would say that the way you, back to what Charlotte was saying about communication, the way you talk to and treat your spouse could
Hmm.
uh could definitely cause the demise of a relationship. If all you ever say is negative things, if you don't support them with your words and your emotions, if you treat, if what comes out of your mouth is always sour, you're messing up your relationship. They can go and get that positive feel, positive word. Somebody else will talk to them the right way
Oh,
that
it's
will
always.
push them to, be like, this is better for me, right? So a lot of times when we think about relationships, romantic relationships that are breaking up, we do quickly point the finger at whoever else is involved, but we do sometimes need to say, look at how we treated the spouse, or how or whoever it is, how you were treating each other in that marriage, that may have caused them, or may have led them to want to look for something else. So it is important that we think about how we talk to and treat our significant others, because that in itself can lead to the demise of a relationship.
And that is communication. And what Angie said, comprehension. Sometimes when
Right.
you're speaking to the other spouse, they're not understanding what you're saying. And then a lot of times that causes a big rift, So
And that's you
always
do have to learn how to basically it's amazing. You have to learn how to regurgitate back, like go ahead and say, okay, so what you mean is, and say it back to them, and you will be surprised. They're
right,
like, no, no, I didn't mean that. Yeah.
right. That's not what I
So, but
said. I mean, what
men and women speak and think differently. So what
we
they will
do.
hear coming out of our mouths is not what we're trying to get across to them. So there has to be a lot of understanding, open communication, active, what they call active listening, because a
Listening.
lot of us have to really practice that.
I mean, you can only listen to somebody tell you stupid so many times
This
to
is
you like, are we,
to your
like I'm
point.
saying, it's still
Or
like what I'm saying, the way you talk to somebody, even in your
To
friendship,
right.
the way you run your mouth is gonna run somebody away from you. Like,
this is true.
To your point, when you see a lot of couples in therapy, the hardest thing to get the people to understand is that both people play a role in
mhm,
what is happening here. They
Right.
usually, a lot of couples don't like coming to therapy because one of them wants you to pick their side. And if
Hmm.
you don't pick their side, they say this therapy ain't fair because she picking this side. And it's not that. It's just you have to understand that you both play a role. Yes, this person did do this action. Can you see the part that you played in it? Um, what was the communication like? How were you speaking to them? Like the what I wanted to teach you guys tonight was what we call the four horsemen of marriage. So the four horsemen of marriage are criticism, defensiveness, stonewalling, and contempt. So we know what criticism is. You always nitpicking at them. You're all when you see these four things in a marriage, this is pretty much guaranteeing that this couple is likely not going to make it. So if you're in a relationship right now, just think about this. You see criticism in your relationship, always nitpicking at each other. Defensiveness, you can never accept your part. I'm
mhm.
always, it ain't me, it's you. You did this. You. Defensiveness, stonewalling to the point where when you are now talking to that person, they don't even talk back. They just sit there and they don't talk. Stonewalling. And then contempt. When now we start calling each other nasty names. We don't like each other. We disrespect each other. We put ourselves up here, we put them down here as if we're better. And out of the four of those things in a marriage, the number one thing that is a predictor that your marriage or your relationship will not work is contempt. Once you get to that step, it's pretty much a wrap
Mhm.
because you've gone through all the other steps. You've gone through the criticism, the defensiveness, the stonewalling, to the point that now you are at contempt. You don't respect each other anymore. And so, really, what statistics tells us is that respect is the number one reason that relationships fail because there's no respect anymore. We are now name calling and we are now I'm better than you and I make more money and we doing those types of things. That's
Child.
the number one predictor that y'all don't need to be in a relationship no more. This is done. So yes, it is communication, but it's the type of communication. That's why people always say that when they come to therapy. We just need to learn how to communicate. And the question is, what do you mean by communication? There's a million different ways to communicate. What specifically do you mean? Things like you always do this. Criticism. A different way to do that would be I feel like this is what's happening. So your partner doesn't feel criticized, but
I
you still
feel
get
like
your point
you
across.
always do this.
But that's what you don't do. That's what you don't do. I feel like when this happens, this is what that means.
Mm-hmm.
So your partner gets the point clearly, but you're not necessarily saying you do it is how I feel.
But I'm the only one in the room, so I know you telling me I did it. No, I'm just kidding. That's how it be.
It just comes across better.
I
And
know. I
listen,
get
this
it.
point on your part, it takes you can't be defensive.
You can't. Exactly.
You
You
gotta
can't
own
be
your part.
defensive.
You gotta own
So,
your
so
part.
I know we're running out of time. It's
No,
7:52. So what do you do though? What ladies, what is your solution after the relationship, your friendship, your business partnership, after it has collapsed? How you pick up the pieces? How you move on?
go get a drink and find somebody else.
Okay. That's one perspective.
Take a shot.
That's my counseling response. That's one perspective. Hmm.
Look at Lonzo Tito's. This boy. Oh my God. And he got it for you. Um,
How do you move
I
on?
don't know.
Move on. I
You
You
just keep waking up
actually,
every morning.
yeah.
no, well, I mean, you do that too. If you need professional help, go seek
Oh,
out professional help.
that too.
And then also, if you just basically speak positive to yourself, because a lot of times the ending of a relationship, whether it be a marital relationship or a friendship, can take a hit to your
Very
uh, yeah, to
self-esteem.
your
Esteem.
esteem and everything. So you want to remind yourself that you are definitely worthy, you're strong, you're this, you're that. Just speak positivity and find new activities and new hobbies and just keep it moving.
Yeah.
You know what? To add to that, all of that, yes, all of that therapy and all of that. The one thing that I added to it that was really tough for me because I'm prideful, the one thing I had to add to it was addressing myself and my part in it because I let a lot of things happen that just should not have
Mhm.
happened. I let a lot of things go in the belief that I'm a good enough person to change this person. And so I had to address me.
Mm.
I was playing the victim. This person did this to me. They didn't force you. You went along with it.
Right. Right.
They
Right.
didn't put a gun to your head. You kept going along with this relationship because it was what you wanted. You were so blinded by this at the moment that you couldn't see you were allowing this to happen to yourself. Your expectations hurt your own feelings.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
I had to really confront myself, which was very uncomfortable because I have pride, but I think you can't fully move forward and have a healthy relationship next time if you don't confront yourself because you'll take that same thing into the next relationship and wonder why I keep picking bad guys.
Right.
It's
And
not the
it's not that.
Yeah.
common
Yeah.
denominator is you.
Ooh.
Ooh, child.
Yeah,
Ouch.
and
Somebody
you're
say ouch.
Know
absolutely
that.
you're
That
absolutely right about that, Carolyn. That's
listen,
part of that building yourself up and learning from the past experience. You
Yeah.
do acknowledge what you let happen because you have a choice in everything.
you
So
do.
yeah,
Right.
once you get that out the way, hey,
Yeah. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. This just made me think of one more question. So from the outside, like sisters and on the outside, how you support this person going through this demise of a relationship? Like, because I could be like, Carol, I told you shouldn't have been friends with them in the first place. I told you she was
Oh,
wrong.
ain't
Or
it easy to do
Charles, I
that?
told you to never marry that broke whatever, blah, blah, blah. I could, you can, so how do you support someone as they go through that without saying I told you so, or do you
Oof.
say I told you so? What you
Oh
do?
man,
How are you
sometimes
supportive? Do you
That's so
take
hard. That's
sides?
a hard question.
it is hard for somebody dog. I try to think about other people because for me it's easier than most people because I'm that type of person where I'm very empathetic. So I could be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and then in the back of my head, I'm saying, "Well, I done told you," but what good does that do now?
No,
Mhm.
The
nothing.
relationship is over. This
no,
person is hurt. They're whatever. They don't need to hear that really.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You just got to be a bigger person, a more mature person. I don't know how to put it. You
What do
just,
you call them and check on them every
You
day?
just
You take them out to lunch. What do you do?
I'm not doing all that. I will
you
send them
really
a
just have to
text.
be there.
Just
For
be
You
me,
there.
just you basically just have to be there for them, and when they need to vent, just let them vent. You don't even have to offer any
That's
type
true.
of advice or anything.
That
Just
is
let
true.
them
I was
talk.
going to say. That's what I was going to say. For me, I stay away from offering advice.
Yeah.
I I let you vent. I let you come to your own realizations. I don't give
Hmm.
you no advice
Mhm.
unless you ask. I don't tell you what to do, and I definitely don't step into that relationship and try to make nothing. I stay
Hmm.
completely out. I'm
Yeah.
not taking sides because, as we already discussed, by default, everybody is telling their own version of the story. So I don't take sides because I know whatever is coming out of your mouth is already tainted to make you paint
Right.
of yourself the way you want to paint the picture. I
Right.
wasn't there, so I don't know what actually happened. So I shouldn't take sides. That wouldn't be wise of me.
Yeah.
Unless, in like emergency situations where, some domestic violence or something that went down. But if it's a breakup and there's things going on, I'm not taking sides. I will listen to your side all day long. And really I just ask, well, is there anything I can do to help you?
That's it. And be
Yeah.
be there for them. Hi, Jody. That's my good friend, y'all.
Hey, Jody. She made a good comment. Divorce is
She
always
did.
difficult when you know both parties. So that's what I'm saying. Like
Exactly.
I got two friends, two
Yeah.
best friends. They don't like each other no more. How you caught in the middle.
Can't choose.
So
You are. And you can't.
it's
And
very
if, to me, if you're a good friend, you won't get mad at the person if, oh, you talking to them and they did this to me. I'm not taking
difficult.
sides. I'm just,
Right.
that's not what we do.
Yeah.
Look.
I like that you
Exactly.
said that. I like that you said that because that requires you to be a grown up to
I
understand.
feel like it does.
Because I don't like this person. Everybody around me doesn't have to not like this person.
Exactly.
You just don't like each other.
Right.
Fine. I don't
Yes,
care
Jody.
what his relationship is with that person, but it takes a mature person to feel that way.
It does. That's what she said. It takes a, everyone is not mature about the situation. They're
Man,
not. And
They're not.
I be wanting everybody to mature and grow up. Come on, let's all just be, but it don't work that way.
they get there on their own time. You can't make people
Mhm.
grow up, child. You
That's
can't.
right. So you
Life
just,
life
I
will
be
do it.
wrong too.
life will do it.
Life will take care of it. They'll have to grow up one way or the other.
Absolutely. This has been a delightful conversation
It's been good.
It has.
about relationships. Y'all got a little deep tonight.
We did because, we all have relationships.
We
And
all
different types of relationships. And I was standing there today, and it just dawned on me, business relationship. And I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, that's a good example of a relationship that can really go bad.
have.
Loud word. People get killed in them relationships. Y'all know I be
They
watching
do.
That's
that word.
true. That's true. And we
They-
didn't even really talk about like
Stop
sibling
watching the show.
relationships.
we did not take. I wanted to bring up sibling stuff. Come, do we have to cut off? Can we keep going?
Have a
No, I'm
We
part
can
just
two
go
kidding.
of
a
this
little bit.
later. We
Okay,
can
because
We could.
that's
Yeah.
a whole nother
in the
beast.
comments if y'all want us to do a part two on this and explore some different relationships because sibling relationships and parent relationships, parent child.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I want
Yes.
to that.
Money will get you killed.
yeah,
Y'all
yeah.
let us know
Mhm.
if we should do a part two on this.
We
We
should do
We're
a
gonna
definitely
do
part
it
two
will.
and talk
anyway.
about
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
family relationships, parents, siblings,
Mm-hmm.
everybody,
Yep.
that
Angie said
uncle.
yes, so that's a go.
That's
All
a
right,
go.
let's
Yeah,
We're doing it.
cousins, all of it. Just yeah, family of any kind.
Yeah,
all right.
that's
Listen,
very
y'all.
important.
Go ahead and pray us out. No, I'm just
Yeah,
Girl,
kidding.
that's true. Any of these sisters try me right here, child. I'm so thankful for my sisters and for our relationship. Although they be trying me,
Jim,
they
stop
be
trying to
doing
make
the
up
most
stuff.
some days.
You right.
That's what they think they're supposed to
Exactly.
do. But you know what? This is one relationship that I haven't let go. All the red flags and gone up
Girl,
on that one. But I still be holding on
Jam,
that one day
Jam,
we will mature and
Damn,
we
they
gonna
just
be
pink.
okay.
Hey,
They're pink. The flags are pink.
they burgundy. When Lori said, when Lori told y'all earlier that they was just key people, that make the decision. I just want to let y'all know she was talking about me. If I don't approve, you're out of here.
Oh my God.
Oh boy. So
That's why
whoever's out there looking for Lori,
that's why
apparently you got some people to go through.
me.
Okay.
Can you see my
Listen,
face?
that's a whole nother conversation when we talk about
Okay.
siblings. We'll save that because with
Oh yeah.
five brothers who are all think they
Oh yeah.
okay. So anyway,
Oh,
it's 8:02. We're gonna go. Thank y'all for joining us.
Thank y'all.
But next week, we do have an interview. You know, we've been doing our 5-part series of interviews of each sister, an in depth interview with each sister. Next week is sister number 4. We've already talked with Charlotte, Carolyn, Lori in depth. So it only remains Jamia and Sherry. So join in next week to see who it is. And then, of course, we definitely will, based on your comments, come back and do a part 2 on this relationship thing. Angie, I know it got to be tough being the only
I'm
girl.
telling you.
Listen,
Woo, poor
Robert
baby.
and
woo.
Courtney, I'm
Courtney
telling
And
you,
Rashard.
Rashard.
and Rev Rashard,
Real.
brothers, girl. You got some brothers. I love all of them, but you got some brothers. That's some real
Yes.
brothers. So you know what I be talking about when I say 5 crazy brothers. You already know. Anyway,
Mhm.
y'all join us next week. We appreciate y'all. Have a good evening. See you
Bye.
later.